Okay, here we go. I'm walking up to the spot with the great Jack Nicholson, the legendary actor, which in my opinion, the last of the greats of the 20th century. And of course, Shirley MacLaine. And we just lost Debbie Reynolds. But in my opinion, Jack Nicholson is the last legendary actor from the 20th century. And here is what the great man stood. As you can see in the movie, there were a lot of cracks right here, chinks, and they repaired it, like I said, in 2008. And over his shoulder in the two scenes, you can see that ridge up there, real clear. And let me say that this is John Alonzo, the cinematographer. Roman Polanski actually wanted a friend of his who worked on Rosemary's Baby, but Robert Evans said he didn't want to have Roman Polanski with too much control, so he assigned him John Alonzo. And of course, this is where the grips, the gaffers, the electricians, right here in this spot, sometime in 1973, would have actually stood. And let me get a shot from this angle right here. Let me zoom in. In the film, you can see pretty clearly that double telephone pole right there. It's still extant and all that. There was no trees. There was really nothing. There was no palm trees. And since then, the people have moved over here. They watered it. And so they're right there in that embankment in the movie. You see that kind of white strip there, but it was more, you could see it more clearly. I guess they painted over a couple of times since then. And then this is where that fictional Leroy Schuhart lived and got drowned. So let me walk around and let me get a shot from underneath the bridge and show you fans all over the world the pylons, which they're modernized now, they're reinforced. And for whatever reason, you can't walk down through here, but on the other side, you can, and there's a lot of joggers. So let me walk around here, and let me read a little bit of a dialogue with Jake and the little boy. It's not worth it, Mr. Gittes. It's really not worth it. Okay, this film, Chinatown, the budget was $6 million, and in 1974, when it came out, the box office was $29 million. And the reason why they put Roman Polanski as a writer on the screenplay, because what he wrote into the screenplay, he wanted Evelyn to die at the end. And Robert Town definitely did not want her to die. He wanted her to go to prison. But later on, after the film came out, Robert Town said, yeah, that was the right ending. And any great storyteller will tell you that you have to have a wind-up, a denouement. And if you don't, then people walk away feeling like, wow, they feel like a weird anxiety. So you have to have that denouement where she dies in the end. Okay, here you go, right here, in that section right there, and that under that pylon, that's where that fictional character drowned. And okay, here is where he sees that boy. He's curious what Hollis Mulray was talking to him about. Howdy, you were riding out here the other day, weren't you? Speak English? Habla inglés? See, you were talking to a man a few days ago. He wore glasses. Yes. What did you talk about? Do you mind my asking? The water. What about the water? When it comes. When it comes? What did you tell him? It comes in different parts of the river. Every night, a different part. Okay, so I'm just curious whatever happened to that kid. But I'm pretty sure he was probably a local, because there's a lot of little horse ranches around here. Okay, so let me go back up here And you can see this telephone pole to or actually I think the pole in the film, I think it was more over here, and maybe when they refurbished this area they moved it to this side over here, but you can clearly see the telephone pole, or maybe it's just the angle that they were filming from that looked like it was on his right, this telephone pole. Okay, the actor that played Lieutenant Lou Escobar, that was a guy named Perry Lopez. He died in 2008. He was 78. He had lung cancer. And he was a good friend of James Dean the last 5 months that James Dean was alive. And he was also in the Two Jakes, the sequel to Chinatown. And too bad, the guy never really worked that much. Great actor. Okay, so let's go back to the spot. Can I ask you something? How much are you worth? I have no idea. How much would you like? 10 million? Oh my, yes. Well, let me ask you this. What can you buy that you can't already afford? See, Mr. Gittes, most people never have to face the fact that at the right time, in the right place, they're capable of anything. One of the most top menacing characters in filmdom, Noah Cross, which again, I think they wrote him into the film because he did the first, one of the first film noirs, 1941, The Maltese Falcon, Dashiell Hammett's great story that he only actually did 2 stories with Sam Spade and his heroic little secretary Effie Perrine. And then of course you had Raymond Chandler's Philip Marlowe, who didn't have a secretary, but of course Earl Stanley Gardner, he had Perry Mason and Dallas Street and Paul Drake. And then you had James N. Cain, that was hard-boiled detective fiction. Then you had Nathaniel West. And then you had John Fanny. And then in the 40s you had Mickey Spillane with that hard-boiled fiction. And then in the 50s you had, well, Mickey Spillane pretty much was 40s and 50s. And then you had John D. MacDonald. And then Ross MacDonald in the 60s. And then of course now, I guess the last one standing, James Ellroy and Elmore Leonard. And then the film, getting back to the neo-noir films of the 70s, it was pretty much started by Play It Again Sam with Woody Allen. And then you had The Sting, and then Chinatown, and then The Peeper with Michael Caine, 1976. Farewell My Lovely with Robert Mitchum, and then you had The Big Sleep. And let me just say that Hollywood did do Philip Marlowe. They did Farewell My Lovely in 1946 with Dick Powell, but they called it Murder My Sweet. That was with Claire Trevor and Anne Shirley. And Anne Shirley, actually, she was her daughter married Robert Towne, so there's a little connection there. Serendipity, everything in Hollywood's incestuous, interconnected. Okay, and then you had Blood Simple in the 80s, True Romance. Then you had Mulholland Drive and Pulp Fiction, Quentin Tarantino, Jackie Brown. So every now and then you have a type of neo-noir that'll pop up. What were you doing there? Working for the district attorney. Doing what? As little as possible. Great, great, fantastic lines. Memorable lines. Every time I see Chinatown, I always get a different interpretation. But that was fantastic. The rape of the Owens Valley and the metaphor of Evelyn Murray being raped by her father, Noah Cross. Okay, well, Roman Polanski, Jack Nicholson, Robert Towne, thank you for this fantastic, impactful, stimulating, just all around terrific movie. And I just want to say thank you, sweet princess. Okay, please subscribe to my channel and thank you for watching. And check out, please, my Raymond Chandler little videos that I did where he lived, and my videos of Steve McQueen, and Jack, wherever you're at, hail fellow, fare thee well. Okay, thank you, and please subscribe to my channel.